Mark it. That's the mark.
Donna, can I talk to you for a second?
Well, since you asked so nicely, I'll even give you two.
We usually come back in the beginning of a season, and I ask the writers to all have a lot of ideas and kind of put forth those ideas.
Aaron obviously comes in with a lot of thoughts that he's had in the off season. Things are percolating of what we want the season to look like, how we want to arc that out.
I kind of have to let them sit in my head for a little bit, and then I'll sometimes confer with each individual writer. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And there starts to emerge sort of a cohesive framework for the season. I think something that a lot of people don't understand about television writing is a writer doesn't just get an episode, they write the whole thing, and then that's done. It's a very collaborative process. The whole group is usually involved in coming up with the idea and helping to what we call break a story. And then the writer will write that episode.
With the finale, with 610, you feel the responsibility to deliver on that. You know, if you're going to do something big in a series, you don't want to disappoint.
You know, with Aaron, it's a very unique kind of situation because he likes to call and talk to you about what they have in store.
Maybe a month before we start shooting, he'll say, oh, well, he's going to jail, and it's going to probably be about 10 episodes, and you're going to try and get him out of jail by the end of 10. But everything in between, I know nothing how he's going to create these stories.
We all know our characters pretty well now, and we can understand where he's taking them by the script. But I would say there's a minimal amount of time spent. It's kind of amazing. There's just no room for it. He's busy writing and editing episodes, and we're busy up here shooting it.
I'm pretty sure I can speak for just about everyone when we just like, what's next? What's happening next? What's expected of us? What cliff is this particular character gonna jump off of this week?
When we get the scripts, we normally have them emailed to us a few days before we start filming the episode, and we're typically in the middle of shooting an episode when we get them, so there's a lot of momentum happening. And I think the one thing that hasn't really changed since season 1 is that Rick Hoffman and I both will call each other, did you get the new episode? What do you think of it?
I usually like to do what Gabriel does, which is take the script everywhere with me, around town, and sometimes even in the shower, study it, wash with it. That's what Gabriel does.
I always read the episode, and then we'll have a table read.
As a cast, we all sit there around the table at lunchtime. We have the writers phoned in on speakerphone because they're all based in LA and we're filming in Toronto. And we read the whole episode out loud so they can hear how it's really sounding.
The cast always brings so much more to the words. You know, we sit there and type away at a computer. They actually live and breathe these people.
It helps all of us to hear the script and kind of see, are there things that need to be cut? Are there things that need to be clarified? Is there funny stuff that could be funnier? You know, it's a big picture look at the script.
It's just the first step towards what we end up doing on camera. And because we have always enjoyed working with each other, then it's just another excuse to play without all the added pressure of, hair and makeup and wardrobe and all the rest of it.
It's like The Breakfast Club.
Do you ever not quote a movie?
No, you got a problem with that, frankly, my dear. I don't give a damn.
You're an idiot.
We knew going into this season that Gina Torres was going to be moving on. I didn't want her to go, but we knew she had to go.
For Jessica to leave, it was a big question for us of how do we want that to go? What do we want that to look like?
They were just great about it. I think we all really agreed. It was important that it feel organic, that it not come out of nowhere.
That man's life is in my hands because your fiance told him not to take the deal. And if we attack the father and it backfires, we lose the jury for good and his life is over.
At one point in 610, we make her choose between the viability of her law firm moving forward and a man's life. It makes her realize that she didn't get into law necessarily just to become the top of the heap, and realizes there's more to life than this thing, and she's got to move on.
Somewhere along the way, I forgot why I became a lawyer in the first place, and it wasn't just to fight for money and power. It was to fight for something more.
Episode 10 was ready late this year. It was tough. We were down to the wire, and Kevin Bray directed it, did a great job, and really pulled it together.
It was like coming home again, working with Kevin. Kevin was our directing producer for seasons 1 and 2. And so to have him come back specifically on 610 it just felt like coming full circle.
Well, as far as Lewis's storyline in 610, on one hand, it was really good news that he gets Tara, he gets the girl, and of course, nothing ever ends perfectly for Lewis.
Don't tell me. It's his.
Louis, I'm so sorry.
she's pregnant with another man's child. But it really shows Louis is selfless. He doesn't care whose child it is. He's in love with her, and he wants to take care of this baby.
I love you. If being with you means raising another man's child, then I'll raise another man's child.
610, we had a few challenges. One was, what are we gonna do with Mike? We ended up making that decision not to focus on Mike's future, and also not to get him out in episode 10, to make that sort of takeaway from Jessica.
Harvey wants to rehire him, and as we see in 610, you know, he tries to hire him as a consultant.
Everyone left that firm because of me. I'm not gonna do that to you again.
Mike.
No, listen to me. You've done enough. You don't have to do this for me.
I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for me. I miss working with you.
For me, that whole episode was really just getting to finally come out and support Rachel in this great storyline she's had. She's in her first case. She's in a major case. A man's life is on the line, and Mike is excited to finally be in that position where it's not him standing up front and doing it, but he gets to support her by sitting in that first row of the courtroom where Rachel has sat so many times and watched so many scenes happen.
Put Leonard on the stand.
Mike, we haven't prepped him yet. He's not ready.
Just listen to me. When I was on trial, I didn't just give the jury a reason to let me go.
You gave him reason to want to let you go.
Exactly.
I think 610 was really great because we got to see this growth and evolution of Rachel's character. We had seen it leading up to that, but being able to see her really act as a lawyer in the courtroom, doing the interrogation, the fact that Jessica believed in her so deeply. We saw so much of that relationship as well, with Jessica as her mentor and role model. And obviously, Leonard Bailey was set free. So that was really cool. And I didn't know that until we got the episode. We didn't know if he was innocent.
I can't believe it. We did it.
We really wanted to focus on Jessica in episode 10 because it's a big thing. She's a huge character. She's leaving. We want that to be a surprise and a shock, and we want to give it its due.
It was an emotional day. You know, you have 6 years with someone that you're looking at their face, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. There's history there. There's, you know, a lot of stuff has happened in these last 6 years for all of us.
Gina's always been a great scene partner for anything, and just very supportive and very, just a very calm influence on our set.
It was just great. She's a class act. We're really, really privileged to have had her for so long on the show.
Camera, Gina.
What is that, a cup of tea?
Just a moment of quiet reflection.
Well, the hell with that. This is a moment for celebration.
I knew that I would see these people again, and then they were and have been and will continue to be a part of my life. And so that is the greatest gift that this show has certainly given me.
From the very beginning, Mike has been hidden from Jessica and danced, you know, from the first episodes where he didn't even want to be caught in the same room as her. 610, we spend, I think it's one scene together, and it felt very full for us to do it. But again, it's, you know, it's never quite enough. I wish I could have a whole storyline, but that's Harvey's thing.
To Pearson Specter Litt.
Pearson Specter Litt.
Shooting that scene where she says she's gonna step down, it was really emotional to watch when we were filming it. It was, honestly, there were few dry eyes.
I'm glad they did it in that way because there's always room for her to come back and make a cameo. Who wouldn't love that, just to see her clothes alone? Best wardrobe on the show.
Roll sound.
Sound speed. We have a great sound department on this show, and so there's very, very little ADR. ADR, for those who don't know, is the audio replacement. So if there was a sound while you were recording, or, you know, a train goes by or a plane flies overhead, you can't use that particular piece of audio, then you go into post-production and replace it, and they can place it back into the cut without having that plane there. I think I've done ADR maybe 10 times this entire show.
Honestly, I've spent probably a total of 4.5 hours in ADR for all of the 6 years that we've been shooting. It's insane. These guys are amazing.
I did hold a record up until recently. I didn't have to go to ADR for maybe close to 2 seasons. Only because I hadn't been in an outside windy scene, or, you know, it's just the luck of the draw. Yeah, but I was kind of like, and I'm the only one who gives a shit about that. I was like, yeah, I didn't have to go to ADR. I'm kind of cool.
He's quoting A Few Good Men.
Finally, somebody gets me.
I got your back, bro.
Don't bro me, dude.
You got it, Chief.
Hey, can I get on this?
No.
The post process on any given episode is the editor is sort of editing it as it's being shot. Every day, they kind of send him the day's footage.
First, I read the script, and I'll check out if there's any notes from set, whether it's the script supervisor or the director, or sometimes Aaron will be on set, and there'll be some notes for preferred takes and things like that. And after I check out those notes, I'll just kind of watch down the footage, and I try to be pretty thorough, looking at all the takes before I get started cutting, and ideally, that's the process.
When the episode's done, the editor has compiled the whole episode and then has 4 more days to polish it as best as they can, making transition from scene to scene be as smooth as it can be, picking music, which is a huge part of the show. Then the director has 4 days to go through and make their director's cut. Then once the director is finished, I will watch it and, I'll spend as much time as I think I have to get it to where it needs to be.
A few of the scenes that stand out to me are the flashback scenes with Jessica when she was a child, and those are just fun from an editing standpoint. I was able to work with the director. He kind of pushed me to make it a bit more abstract, and I think in the end, the version that we did wind up coming up with, which Aaron saw and stayed in the episode, I thought was great.
It was beautifully crafted, that particular episode, because you got to sort of see more of what formed Jessica. You had those flashbacks to when she was a young woman and the choices that she was making, and going against, one of the most significant figures in her life, which was her own father.
If you think that, then you should have spent more time with me. Because you don't know me at all.
In a normal episode, we might not have done them because the finale, you usually make it a little longer.
You could have cut one, you could have cut both. We didn't need them, but I hope that at the end of the day, when people watch the episode, seeing those moments from Jessica's past might help us as viewers kind of understand a deeper level of what she wanted her life to be, not just her professional life, but her life to be.
I found 610 to be this soft, kind of really touching finale that left people kind of just going, wow.
It's a smart show. It hasn't ceased to be that in all the years that I've been blessed to work on it, and it certainly doesn't disappoint.
But 610 was a really emotional episode to do in general. I was really excited to be such a part of it.
You see a writer's name on an episode, you see a director's name on an episode. Like, all of Suits is an incredible collaboration of people. I hope people understand what a team effort it is to make a show like this.
As a cast, we get just as excited to see what's going to happen. We wait with bated breath for the script just as fans do for the actual episode to air.
You gonna be okay?
She was my mentor. But yeah, I'm gonna be okay.
you.